What is up, lads? It's CM9 here. What did I say right at the very beginning of the season? What did I say in that video on the United-Chelsea game? What did I say? I said, this is what we've got to come to terms with. We are not a dominating side. We have blemishes. It's going to be one of those seasons. Well, I hope you're ready. Strap yourselves in, get your seatbelts on, get in the car. We're ready for a bumpy ride, I swear to God we are. So, Frank Lampard's first home game as manager ends in a 1-1 draw against Leicester. I honestly have no words to describe that. Honestly, I just don't. Like, what the hell happened to us? Did we look tired at the end of that? Like, after 3 games in the season, what, we just looked like a completely tired squad? Did you see Leicester, the way they were playing in the end of that game? We were making them look like Barcelona. No disrespect to Leicester because they're a top side, but when you look at it in the big picture, Leicester City finished that game positive. We just looked tired, depleted and out of ideas. But the thing is, it all started so well. It all started brilliantly. And let me try to explain it in the best way that I can. Mason Mount opens the scoring with, I've got to be honest, a really, really good work goal. I've got to be clear on this. Mason Mount did something that really showed me, you know, that there are some players in this team that can show off a bit of hunger. You know, when, Lampard has been drilling this whole thing into them since day one, since he first came back to the club from Derby. He's been saying, every player in that team has to show some hunger, desire, will to play for the shirt. And Mason Mount, credit to him, he got the ball back in a situation where Leicester could have easily cleared the ball or what have you, but they held onto the ball and Mason Mount got the ball back. He hit it first time low and, well, placed it. I don't know if it was low and hard, but it was pretty hard. It went past Schmeichel and it went in the bottom corner. And it was 1-0 and it looked great. We literally came out of the blocks in the first half. Like, literally, chance after chance. Pedro had a chance. Even Mount had a few chances. Mount should have had about maybe 2 or 3 goals. Some of the passes we were making in that first half was absolutely excellent. And then there was that dip. A little bit later on in the first half, it was a little bit of a dip. Leicester suddenly started to get a little bit of feel for the game. And there was something that I noticed a little bit later in the first half where we were too busy holding on to the ball in our back four. And what Leicester were doing, Leicester were trying to force a mistake out of us. We had players like Christensen, Zuma, and Azpilicueta just dwelling on the ball way too much, passing it back to the goalkeeper. And then there were opportunities where Leicester could literally just take the ball away and create an opening, create an opportunity, capitalise. And it was coming. It was literally coming. I didn't want it to happen in the first half, but there were signs that it was going to happen. So, yes, Chelsea started off that first half really, really well. Off out of the blocks completely. You know, Mason Mount doing great. Jorginho with some great passes. Pedro getting in behind the Leicester defence, creating cross into the box. Giroud on it with a few chances of his own. Like, we started off really, really well. And then it dipped. And then the second half happened. And before I start talking about the second half, I want to earmark a certain ethic about this club that I think stems from that Super Cup final that we had to play against Liverpool. Fatigue. Are you telling me that after 3 games in the season, we're already looking like a tired team? Please don't tell me that. Because what we saw in the second half, Leicester City literally played like they were Barcelona on the pitch. James Maddison. I want to talk about James Maddison for a moment because the amount of space that we allowed him was unfathomable. There's one person to blame for this. Azpilicueta. I've been saying this. I said this in the match against Liverpool. I said this. He's out of it completely. He looks completely tired. And there was something that Yunus said in his video when I was watching him the other day. His mentality is there. Like he's determined. But if the physicality doesn't match that, then there's no real point. He just doesn't have that. He doesn't have the fitness anymore. He's just getting to that age now where he just can't function as a player physically. Mentally, he can because his drive and willingness, that's why he's the captain, right? But his physicality, his stamina, He just gets tired out really, really quickly. And he was struggling to get back. There were times where Leicester literally had the ball up the pitch and Maddison had the ball, looking where to pass the ball, looking for opening, looking for pockets. And Azpilicueta is just jogging back. If Reece James was our right back, if he was fully fit, if he didn't have this injury, and he would have been out there getting that ball back from Maddison and getting it straight back. You see what I mean? Reece James has more hunger. He's got more... He's younger than Azpilicueta is. And I hate to say it, but... like, Leicester's goal was just... It was coming. That second half, it was coming. It was all Leicester in the second half. I don't recall one time in that second half where we actually had a chance on goal. It looked like we were going to score. Leicester had all the energy, they had all the power, they had everything. And it was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time before that one little slip. And they got it. Leicester got it from a corner. And then the same guy that made the mistake to let Mason Mount score in the first half bullets a flipping header in the top corner. And that's it. Leicester City have equalised and they're back in the game. And it's from a set piece. Zonal marking. I've been saying it so many times in so many videos. I'm getting tired of it now. Zonal marking. Set pieces. This is our weakness. We do it all the time, whether it's a corner, whether it's a free kick, it doesn't really matter what kind of set piece it is. We just instantly concede a goal because of our poor marking. I keep saying it, our defence is poor. It really is. Going into the Leicester should have scored like 3 or 4 goals. I was literally waiting for it. I was waiting for it. Come on, Leicester, come on. Let's get the second goal so I can be done with this. The number of times, like Maddison again, I'm going to talk about a lot. I'm going to talk about Maddison quite a lot because a lot of good things are coming from this boy. This lad is very, very good. I think he's part of the England squad actually. It's kind of, and if he hasn't played a game for England yet, I'm surprised at that because the number of times that he literally, how many times have I said literally in this video? The amount of times he got the ball and he waltzed through our defence, and there was that one time where he got into the box and all he had to do was finish it. It went over the bar. He scuffed it. But imagine if that went in. That meant would have been 2-1 down. That meant would have been chasing the game. And with all that fatigue that we're showing in that second half, there was no way we were going to get back in that game. No way. No way. I don't care. Tammy Abraham coming on the pitch, and I got to be honest, much respect for Tammy Abraham with all the stuff that's been throwing at him quite recently, with all these so-called fans saying things, and I won't be saying what things, but you know what I mean. Like, much respect to him. Much respect to him for getting on the pitch and doing his best. You know, Tammy Abraham's got to keep it going. He's got to keep his chin up. Got to keep, you know, because things like that, especially when you've missed a penalty in the Super Cup final, you know, those sort of things get to you though, sometimes. You know, it happened to Lukaku years and years ago when we had a Super Cup final and he missed the exact same kind of penalty. Well, exact same circumstances. I don't know if he had it over the bar or if it was saved or not, but much respect to Tammy Abraham and credit to all the fans that gave him that respect. But it was just really, really frustrating. I can't believe it. I just don't know. I don't know what is going on with this team. I really don't. We've got to come to terms with this as Chelsea fans because this is what we got. We had a transfer ban. We had to serve it. We couldn't buy players. We couldn't strengthen. We had to bring in some youth players. And that's what we've had to do. That's what Lampard's had to do. And it bothers me about Frank Lampard because, look, I've got much respect for Frank Lampard. I'm definitely 100% Lampard in. Definitely. I'm going to be saying that right now. But there are tabloids going on right now, like calling for his head already. Like everyone's been saying that we need an English manager at a top club. As soon as we get bad results, a couple of bad results, suddenly the tabloids are on him. And there was a headline from The Guardian this morning I read, and it sort of like moulded into the sort of shape that I was talking about. And it bothers me. It bothers me. We all have to get behind him. Look, it's early days. It's early days. I know that Frank Lampard can turn it around. Look, Frank Lampard's got to work with what he's got. He's had to bring in young players. And some of the press conferences that he's had shows a lot of positivity. Shows a lot of like mentality in the team. We've just got to put it to practice on the pitch. Maybe it's because of the fact that we had so much to do in that Super Cup final against Liverpool that we had little to prepare, we literally just gassed ourselves out in the second half. Literally. We showed all of our intensity in this one part of the game, and then by the second half, it literally just fell apart because Leicester looked more fresher, looked more stronger, looked more mentally stronger as well, I have to admit, because when you think of it, when you have Leicester City, Leicester are a good side. I mean, they won the Premier League a couple of years ago for a reason. They're a good side. But this is the thing. We put all of our eggs into one basket. We don't take our chances, and then we just let teams get back into the game, and then we concede a goal, and it's like we make it so hard for ourselves. We make it so difficult. This is what we saw a lot of last season. A lot of it was due to not taking our chances and then just letting the opposition back into it with a goal. Like I said, strap yourselves in because we're going to be seeing a lot of that this season. We're going to be seeing a lot of this mentality issues. Being the Chelsea manager is a poison chalice in itself. It's going to be interesting to see how Lampard deals with it. But, you know, I don't know what to make of it. I really don't know. Maddison, great player. Man United almost signed him. In this transfer window that's just gone. They almost signed him. They did get Maguire, but they could have got Maddison as well. That's the thing though. We gave him way too much space in the second half, and I think it's because of the fact that we were just completely fatigued. Because we'd done so much in the first half. And just for the record, we did have that game against Liverpool in the Super Cup that we had to go to extra time for. All that fatigue showing. And we got somebody like Maddison just running rings around us and almost getting like 4 or 5 goals. It could have been like 3 or 4-1, but it wasn't, thankfully. Well, it was 1-1, but first 2 games of the season, we haven't even got a single win on the board. So, next game is against Norwich, away. So if we don't win that, should we start calling... No, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm not going to do that yet. No. I'm not calling crisis. There's no way this could be a crisis so very early on in the season. But what I want to do is I want to wait until you guys write stuff in the comment section down below and let me know what you think of that. Yeah. I'm not happy. Let me know what you guys think of that game in the comments down below. Check out my social media links in the description also, and make sure you follow me on Twitter at ChrisModder9, and also check out my gaming channel, Chris Modder Games, as well. If you're a gamer, you might want to check that out. And yeah, strap yourselves in, guys. Like I said, it's going to be a long season. We're going to have to expect this. We're not the team we once were. I'm just going to say that now. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Until the next video, I shall see you later. Hey do, and peace.